Yesterday, I saw Twisters in theaters, which of course is now playing. It just released this past weekend, and it's not a sequel, but it's also not a reboot. It's kind of its own thing, but obviously it is still in name and in logo and all that stuff in relation to the original Twister. So I did watch that actually for the first time in preparation for this film, which, I mean, I know it's like a beloved classic from the 90s and everything. It was all right, but I'm going to be honest, I didn't love it. I was kind of bored and I felt like it was a little too long, which is one of the minor complaints I have about this film is it feels maybe a little too long, because it is over 2 hours, but at the same time, other than that, it was maybe a little too long, but I also didn't care that much because I had a great time with this. This movie right here is a great example of everything I look for in a good summer blockbuster. Something that I have fun with and that I am able to walk out of the theater with a smile on my face, being able to say, that was a fun movie. Like, is it going to win any Oscars or get any award nominations or anything? No, probably not. Like, most definitely not. But it was just a fun time at the theater, nice summer day, just to go and have fun. And it was great. But the thing that I really liked about this movie, though, is that that's not all it is. Like, it's a fun movie, but there's more depth to it than that. Again, it's not, like, going to win any screenplay nominations or anything, but it, like, the trailers really put the focus on, like, oh, look at the tornadoes, like, oh, they're so cool, and oh, if you feel it, chase it. And, like, that was an element of the film, but they also, on top of that, they still show the real destruction of these tornadoes. They really make you feel the danger of the tornadoes and how it impacts people and the real safety risk that these people are put in Oklahoma. It's actually really terrifying. Like, there are moments in here that are legitimately scary. And we do start off the film very similarly to the original Twister movie, with a scene set in the past, starring our main character who goes through, let's say, an incident with a tornado, and then therefore when we meet back up with them in present day has a sort of PTSD from that event and is now nervous going into another tornado Twister situation. So that worked really well because, again, like, you have the really fun elements here. You have Glenn Powell's character who's a tornado wrangler, and they've got this YouTube channel that they're always streaming live on. They're always blasting country music, which is one of the few things you got to suspend your disbelief on, because no way they wouldn't get copyright struck on YouTube blasting that music. But nonetheless, like, you have those fun elements, but then you also have the really serious elements, because that's one of the things that they really made me care about these characters, which is something that's really important in something like a horror movie or a natural disaster movie, because a lot of times, like, you know, stuff's gonna happen, you know, people are gonna die, you know, there's gonna be some horrific things, and you know it's gonna be cool because, like, tornadoes, you know, but they need to build up those characters so you actually have a reason to care when all of this destruction and carnage is going down. And that's something that Twisters does really well, also in part due to not just the writing, but also the acting as well. The cast here is fantastic. I already mentioned Glenn Powell, who's, I mean, it's nothing special here. Like, it's not like a super fantastic performance. Like, it is pretty much just, it's very similar to his character from Top Gun, which I loved him in that. So he is great here. He has fantastic chemistry with Daisy Edgar-Jones, who, another thing is that I think I only watched, like, maybe one trailer for this, and I think it was the Super Bowl trailer. So I didn't really know what to expect from this film, but the cast kind of shook up a lot from what I was expecting, because I thought the film was just all mainly Glenn Powell and Daisy Edgar-Jones. But I felt like I saw way more Glenn Powell in the promotion for this film, which, honestly, that's one of the biggest reasons this movie's making so much money this weekend, is just because Glenn Powell and everybody thinks he's hot, which I can't blame me if you think that. But Daisy Edgar-Jones is the main character of this film, and also Anthony Ramos has a much larger part to play in this story than I originally thought. We also have, I didn't expect Katie O'Brien to be in this. We have David Corenswet, of course, our new Superman in James Gunn's Superman film coming next year. I watched a film earlier this year called The Greatest Hits. It's a Hulu original film. I did a review for it on the channel, and he was in that, and I enjoyed him in that. But this, he has a much bigger role in, and I don't even know if it's because like it was taking place in Oklahoma or what it was, but even though his character was an absolute douchebag in this film, I still got Superman vibes from him. Like every time I looked at him, I was like, David Corenswet, that right there is Superman. I mean, he's saying some really bad, mean stuff to these people, but hey, that's my Superman right there. So that was really exciting. And yeah, just the overall chemistry with all of these characters was great. And again, you feel the stakes, you feel the drama, you feel the loss, and also kind of the mythology that's developed here, because like there's a lot of the whole thing with this Twisters franchise is that these people are scientists. They're chasing these tornadoes. They're trying to observe them and get data from these tornadoes to develop a way to stop them or prevent earlier warning systems. So there's science behind it. I don't know how accurate the science is. It probably is most likely just movie science, so it's really like it's just made up, but it's believable-ish, so I believed it totally. And it works because you get invested in that, and then, you know, whether or not they succeed in these experiments, that's something that I really felt a need for it, that I really got excited by. And so yeah, Twisters is just, again, it's a great fun time at the cinema this summer. Yeah, it was just fun. That is the best way to describe this film, is it's just a fun movie. And I highly recommend it. This is specifically, especially something you should totally see in theaters. It's a great experience on the big screen. I just saw it in a regular theater, but I can imagine seeing it in 3D or 4DX would be awesome. This is the type of movie that would be really good for. But even just seeing it in regular was still fun. It was still an absolute blast. And also, oh man, the soundtrack. I'm a big country music guy, so I love the soundtrack for this. There's a lot of original country songs that were made specifically for this film. And man, Luke Combs and Ain't No Love in Oklahoma, oh, such a banger. I was blasting the soundtrack the whole way home. Like, you know a movie is good when somebody like me walks out of the theater and the whole drive home is just in a mood related to the film. Like the whole drive home, I was blasting the soundtrack from this film, had the windows down, and I just kept yelling, woo, yeehaw! Like that was just me the whole time, and it was great, and I absolutely loved it. And now I want to go find a cowboy hat and put it on and be like Glenn Powell, because, well, everybody loves him. So anyways, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What did you think about Twisters? Did you check it out this weekend at the theaters? And if you haven't already, again, like I said, you should totally check it out. This is definitely a theater experience for this summer you don't want to miss. I cannot recommend it enough. So guys, thank you for watching. Please drop a like if you enjoyed this video and hit the subscribe button so I can keep up to date on everything that goes on in the movie life.